What's up, guys? It's Julian. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how to make a full tech house track. We're going to be talking about the beginning, the middle, the end, the whole arrangement, every instrument you need so you can truly learn what's going on in these tracks that you love. As usual, you can get the full track to what you just heard in the intro right at the top of the description. You can get the project files, samples, MIDI, presets, everything is available right there on my Bandcamp. If you enjoyed these videos, definitely go grab that because it really helps support me. And yeah, let's dive in. Alright, so we've got the project here. You can see it's about 41 tracks, so might seem like a lot. A lot of that is just groups, though. It's really not as daunting as it seems. So we start up here with just the low end, really simple. When you're making a track, you probably want to start with your kick and then the bass right away. So yeah, we got those sounding pretty nice. So the kick we've just got, this is one of my samples. One thing I wanted to show you guys also is that I'll probably put this into mono. Just make sure it's in mono. You can see, so it's pretty much just goes for the whole track. But then what's happening is we have a high pass filter. So you can see there's a lot of automation with that. And that's what's really going to give this, a lot of life and kind of keep it moving through the track. Even though it's pretty much playing the whole time. But there's still like little moments where it cuts out. There's lots of little that kind of stuff. So yeah, and then we have the bass. So we have like the sub. And then more of like a mid-range layer. So these are both made with the operator. You can see the sub is actually a saw wave with a bit of FM from some sine waves, and then it's being low pass, so that's why it's a sub. But the idea here is it's kind of just basic subtractive synthesis. I was talking about this in yesterday's video. You just get a very harmonically rich waveform, which almost obviously you wouldn't necessarily want that in the full track, but then you low pass it, and there's a lot of low end there, and then you kind of get a little bit of mid range and low mid range in there that you wouldn't get if you just use the sine waves. So that's the idea. And here's the bassline MIDI. So not really that complicated. You can see it's basically, so yeah, it's just like 4 notes. We have A sharp, C, and then G up here. So, but it's the same thing I was also talking about in yesterday's video where we have the first half here, and this is a little bit more of a complicated version of that. Where it's basically the first half here, call, response. And that's how you want to think about it when you're writing the bass line. If you approach it from that standpoint, it's a little bit less daunting, because it's basically just keep that in mind, rather than doing that doesn't really have as much groove as. So yeah, and then we have just a little bit of drum bus on there. It's being sidechained. There's a high pass on the bass as well, which is just for this breakdown here. And then also that to cut out a little bit of room for the kick. And then yeah, just a little bit of saturation on the group. Not too much, but just something to kind of glue it. High pass filter. And yeah, so if you can get your kick and your bass down, that's easily 40-50% of the track right there when it comes to the main groove. So then we have the percussion. So it starts with the hi-hat. You want to get this down first, so we got a nice 909. And then a ch. So it's this one for kind of the body of the sound, but then this one is going to give you more punch. And this gives you some high end. And there's even also a shaker for a ch underneath it. Got closed hi-hat. Some live percussion. I have this ride here, so it's a 909 ride, and then we have actually a bit of echo, which I'm gonna You can see that's just at 2 different times, but they're very fast, so you kind of get like this. It's not really a delay, but it just gives you a bit of stereo width. It's a nice technique to get the ride a little bit wider. And yeah, we don't have anything on the group of that. You want to keep that pretty clean, just get like nice punchy sounds layered together. So then we have like this. So a lot of people think it's just a clap, but you actually want to have like a nice clap, which on its own is very punchy. But you can hear the clap is really just like the like higher frequencies. So then you get the snare to get like the ch. And that's the thing, because you really, like, if I play this with the kick, you need that to really be hitting about the same. So if you just do the clap, you really don't get the, like, punch from the snare. So you gotta make sure you have that. And then we also have these two. So these are kind of doing a bit of call and response on their own. And what we're doing with this one is it's just got a bit of echo on it. So that's just kind of like, if you listen to that in the groove, like the whole track, it kind of keeps it like rolling a little bit more. If I turn that off, it's not as groovy. So it's kind of like using the effects not just like to have an effect on it, but like it's actually affecting the groove of the track. And then we just have a little high-end boost on there. So then that's pretty much the main parts of the track. But then we also have like a little vocal sample. We also have a sample in here. So I wanted to try making something a little bit more like French house influence, I guess, with this, trying to like, you know, sometimes these tracks are using samples, and a lot of times I don't show you guys how to do that. So pretty much I've just taken this, and this is a loop that I quantized from like an older, like much older track from some obscure label. I think I chopped it and then I just consolidated it. This was a lot. And you just tune the vocal. And then on this, okay, so we've got, this is just like a little bit of compression, because sometimes with these samples, you know, if you turn this off, you'll hear like, it's not that even. Right, like the drums kind of stick out, and they're not even that punchy to begin with, but like, you know, it's not really all there. So we compress it a little bit. I put it in mono as well. And then I even put some drum bass on it. And then there you go, you get kind of a little bit more, because like if you're sampling from YouTube, you don't really get that like vinyl sort of crunch to it, you know? I mean, I guess this is pulled from a record probably, the YouTube upload, but like, yeah, it just gives it a little bit more of that texture that you want. And then we just have a high pass filter with some automation to kind of bring it in and make it disappear. I have another, so that utility is just for a volume. I don't like to use these volumes, because then if you automate this one, you can't really like control this. Like you have to turn this up and down when you want to mix the tracks. So if you add automation to that, you won't be able to do it. So I like to do this just with the utility. I have a washout as well, just making it disappear. And then I have this auto pan to kind of make it sound sidechain. And then this is the same sample. So I think that loop is a little bit less chopped. I just quantized it a bit. And it's even using the bass line from the loop too. So that's just got a bit of drum bus and compression. And you can get away without the drum bus, but I think the compression really helps make it. Like, you need that to kind of even these older samples out. And then this pretty much has the same stuff as what you saw, auto pan, which, yeah, it's on there. And then we pretty much just have the effects. Like, I have building snare. Same deal, using the utility to, like, make the volume build up. We have, like, you can ignore that. We've got, like, just kind of like little fills. Like, I'm trying to do a little bit of different stuff, like just taking the crash. It's a simple thing to do. Anyone can do this. It's very easy. But you just kind of make it a little bit more rhythmic. And then down here we just kind of have like, you know, like a crash, little sweep. And then like some other effects, and these just kind of fill out the background, because when you have a track like this where it's just like so much just kick and bass and drums over and over, yeah, you need little stuff like just like. So these are just a bunch of my effects, and these were actually made with a lot of the hardware that you see over here. But yeah, so we just got that. And that keeps it moving, because if you don't have that stuff, it's going to get very boring very quickly. And yeah, so like I said, you know, it might seem like a lot of stuff, but it's actually pretty simple. You just want to start with the basics, get the kick, the bass, get that hi-hat grooving and the clap and snare. Move up to the other stuff, the percussions, other hi-hats, and it'll pretty much come together pretty quick. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get the full project files, samples, MIDI, presets, everything from this track that you see here is available right at the top of the description on my Bandcamp and on my website, Electronic Samples. Definitely check that out. I've just dropped it. If you guys want to support me, go there and grab some stuff. I've got all my stuff on there. And yeah, thank you so much for the support, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.